Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today is Monday, 10th of October. So this video is going to be a bit interesting, I hope, because there's kind of a lot of things I do want to talk about in the next few shots. And as I said shots because I'm going to be splitting this video into some different sections to talk about different things, because I am trying to adapt a new way of recording rather than just my phone literally sitting there the whole time. But in general, the things I'm going to be covering today are some new things that I discovered, a new app, a few new apps actually today. It was really interesting to kind of find out about these things, and yeah, what I'm gonna be doing today and all that kind of stuff. So let's get into it. So just to start things out, one of the main things I want to talk about is the apps that I kind of discovered today, and there are two actually. One of them is Anchor, by Spotify, and also another one is Day One. Okay, so Anchor is actually a podcasting platform done by Spotify. It is pretty much an app that allows you to record your audio and do some stuff and also end up uploading it as a podcast on Spotify as the platform. And since it is a Spotify app, I believe that it is exclusive to uploading to Spotify. I'm not really sure if it's actually cross-platform, but yeah, since it is Spotify, because I didn't really actually look up the app yet, but I suppose that is the case. Oh, I should shake the camera. Um, and the other app that I'm really looking at is Day One, and this app is very interesting to me because I, as a person who has been journaling a lot, as I said yesterday, to discover the amazingness of this app is just amazing. Wow, I said amazing twice. That is how amazing it is in general, because before this, for my kind of digital platform for journaling in general, I use Apple Notes, or sometimes I shift to Craft, or sometimes I shift to Notion, and then I jump back to Apple Notes, and sometimes I use Google Docs, or yeah, I just generally use a lot of platforms. And the only other dedicated journaling app I used before was Journey, because that was something I used way before I started using Apple products. When I was using Android and Windows, that was the best app I could use, and I transferred. I transferred it to my Apple devices because it is actually cross-platform, and it worked well. But the only issues I had with it is the lack of customization, in the sense I wasn't able to batch delete a lot of my old entries. I wasn't particularly my entry of tags, because back then when I started out my journey was actually one of the main apps I used before I started jumping around, because and I was kind of overly excited using it, and I didn't really know how to use tags properly, to the point that I had just so much redundant tags. And when you have too much redundant tags, it just gets a little bit, too messy. Because back then I didn't even know what is a tag. I just thought it was just something to kind of like describe the whole thing, but in reality, it's just allowing you to kind of categorize the stuff in a different way. And now, since I have too much tags, I wanted to delete them. And going through the FAQ and stuff like that, I wasn't really able to find a definite way to delete those tags. And that kind of hinders me to actually continue to use the app, even though I've been using it for many, many years. So yeah, because of that, I mostly jump to different apps, and at one point, it kind of like hinders my ability to really enjoy journaling again, because when you shift your home base too much, which is your note-taking app and stuff like that, it leads you to this feeling of detachment to apps, and you will kind of like stumble into this habit of jumping and discovering new apps, and in hopes of actually getting the best value out of it and stuff like that. But then I found this app, Day One. Actually, it has been recommended by a lot of people that I look up to on YouTube and even on kind of like articles online. Day One is one of those amazing journaling apps that haven't really tried, because I had a subscription before for Journey, and I didn't want to kind of add my expenses to this app. But now, since I'm not really subscribing to much other apps and then looking at it, might as well try it anyway. And just right off, just looking at the app, it just is more pleasing. More pleasing in the sense that to access a lot of kind of like features is just so easy. For example, there are three main like buttons on the phone app. I think I'm gonna be kind of like showing it on screen later. You can record audio, you can take a photo, or you can make a text quickly, or you can just go to the bottom of the screen and click add, where you can actually have templates. And I'm just gonna say this right off the bat, templates are usually not what I see people would use on a journaling app, but somehow it is there and it is just amazing because that saves up a lot of time and it kind of like enhances your process of actually journaling your day or your moment at that time. And so that is really a great feature to actually have. Maybe I'm going to be customizing these templates in the future to suit my needs more properly, but yeah. And another thing that I kind of noticed about this particular app is the audio recording, and that is something that's dear to me because as you guys can see, I love to ramble a lot, but typing isn't really something I like doing on the phone. If I were to type, I usually just use my laptop or I use my iPad with my Logic keyboard, but that is of course a chunky setup to kind of like journal. So usually I would just end up using my phone, and typing all the time is really exhausting. So having the ability to quickly record an audio for my journaling is a great thing. And despite all this, okay, yes, that is kind of like you can take videos, you can take photos, you can take audio, right? And those are under the category of media. So when we talk about media in this app, when as a person who uses an electronic device that has storage is a big issue when it comes to media, because when you just have too much media just throwing in like, oh my god, I'm so excited recording, you have to think about your storage usage in the future, because the more you just simply throw into the app and record so many things in so many moments but end up kind of like bogging your storage down, your local storage particularly, that is an issue. But just kind of like going through the little kind of like, I mean, it's not really little, but the settings section for the journal app, I found that there's an option to actually delete local storage. So that means Day One has the ability to have cloud storage for your media, and that is a really interesting thing. That really helps me a lot and really kind of like removes that kind of like thing in the back of your head thinking, oh my god, I can't really take too much photos because this is going to be hogging my phone. I don't want suddenly my Day One app to have like to be taking up 10 gigs of storage just because I have so much media on it. I can just oh, okay, I've recorded a lot, I'm just going to go to that section, I'm just going to delete all the local storage and leave it online. So that is really good. Okay, so which is why I kind of like got compelled to actually start to get into this app. Alright, so the next app that I really want to kind of like sit down and talk about is Anchor. And as I said before, it is an app made by Spotify, and its function is to actually host your podcast and allow you to actually make podcasts on the fly. And that got me thinking again recently, because actually I've known Anchor to exist for quite some time now, but I didn't really kind of delve into it and actually initiate my plan to be a podcaster in the first place, because as it just with all the procrastination going on and stuff like that, I didn't really have the energy to even do podcasts, because you have to have a topic to talk about in the first place to make podcasts. And just like vlogging, there is of course that hurdle to go overcome, to just put yourself out there. And since I've actually done the end step in general, which is to just show my face and talk my head out in general, I don't know if that is even a proper term, to talk your head out. I think it is proper. I think that exists, but I don't think that is the right way to use it. But anyway, yeah, to just really just say things and just talk about things. And I didn't really have the heart to even do it. But now, since I've been doing this, like doing it in the worst way possible, to start off in the most garbage way, just show my messy hair and being in a very bad lighting, just looking ugly and really sounding disgusting in general. After going through that and having this my fifth chapter for this simple vlog, I can say that I am a bit more confident now, in the sense that I just don't give a shit anymore whether how people see me, as I said so many times. And this is really a good opportunity to really step up my game. I did say yesterday I want to step up my game next time, but I think I should do this on a video by video basis. And as you can see, I'm using different shots now. I'm splitting things up because I feel that this allows me to kind of like be in a different mindset and kind of like have a specific topic to talk about. So in any way, about podcasting, see, I rambled a bit there. I just think that this is an opportunity for me to just sit down and talk about a topic. And podcasting, I can really do it anywhere compared to videographing, because I don't want to do it anywhere else other than home at the moment, because I just feel like this is the best place to do these kind of things, to be in the zone, to record myself. And if I were to be distracted in a university setting, that is not going to really help. So yeah, podcasting, I can do it when I'm in university, so I think I can start doing that today or tomorrow, see how it fits. But in general, I'm excited because I have already had the confidence to just simply do it. I have nothing to lose in general, because I'm already at the lowest of doing this. I'm already at my lowest. I've showed everyone my lowest, so might as well just start, and learn the process moving forward. So yeah, maybe let's see how it goes. So for this part, I'm going to be a bit more up close to my phone because I feel that I want to kind of just be closer and explain things more thoroughly about this part, which is why am I doing so many plans for these kind of videos? Okay, so as you guys can see, these videos are uploaded on a weekly basis. So my life happens around in the weekdays usually, and weekends are just usually actually days I spend time to plan. And yeah, which is why I'm doing these kind of videos. And I think this is a good time for me to just kind of like put in a segment about planning. Um, as you guys already know, I am crazy about productivity. You know, like not particularly very crazy, but I had been really into self development for I don't know how many years at this point, 7 years. You know, since 2015. You know, I've been really deep into motivation, and then after that, I kind of got into read a lot of articles about productivity. I bought books and stuff like that in hopes to kind of like improve my life. So when it comes to planning, why I'm doing a lot of planning because this is really actually the early phases of my next chapter in my life because I know this is a new chapter in my life, not just because I just entered clinical years. Like clinical years can is actually one of the major factors that kind of led me to have this big change because clinical years is so much different than, of course, pre-clinical years. There's so many more things I have to face, and that's why I'm kind of pulling back a few things like my music. I don't really want to pressure myself, but I also took this opportunity with the fact that I'm stopping music to kind of push forward other things like sharing content, actually writing, because now is the time for me to improve my ability to deliver content, to actually be able to write better, to speak better, and to kind of have build the confidence to put my face on the internet. You know, just stop caring about what people think. And I've done that. I'm in the process of already doing the last point, and now I am still thinking and improving the first two parts. Really, since it's really a really new phase, and so yeah, planning in general is a very simple process. Okay, planning is you doing it, you know, prospectively. Like, okay, today you sit down, you open your like laptop or your phone, or you just take a piece of paper and pen and start writing. Okay, what do I want to achieve the next week or the next month or before a specific due date? Or like for example, your exams, which is the most classic thing a student would do before the exam. They would just plan ahead. Okay, I'm gonna study maybe 2 hours a day, and I'm gonna study this topic this day, this next topic that other day, and stuff like that. However, prospective planning in general has a very high tendency to fail, maybe up to 98% chance to fail. And when people face these kind of failures in planning, they would just start thinking, oh, maybe planning isn't really for me, or maybe I'm not really the type of person who's able to really achieve much and be productive in general. But that is one of the most biggest misconception in general because yes, you have so many things going on in your life and you have so many issues and there may be things that just kind of like ruin your whole plan, but you are planning to improve your life in some way, to change for the better, to kind of face things in a more efficient way and be able to get out of any kind of rut that you're facing right now. So don't take the failures in planning as a sign of something else, because in reality what you should really do is sit down and try again. Like look back what went wrong, really truly went wrong. Maybe that you did not really factor in the probability of this thing to go sideways because of, you know, your lack of ability to kind of like segregate your day properly. For example, okay, yes, you plan to study at 8 o'clock at night, but then the next thing you know, the next few days, you suddenly on that one particular night you have set a meeting with your friends to kind of discuss about some project, let's say, and to kind of like make that kind of like deviation as a point or a purpose of failure is really not that wise. I'm not saying that it's not wise, but it's like that shouldn't be a reason to be a point of failure, because it's just maybe a lack of your proper expectation of your future. Like you maybe did not actually set the calendar that okay, oh yes, I'm going to be studying every night at 8 p.m. but oh, this night I have a meeting, so I'm just gonna maybe put it study in the evening or something like that. If you are planning to achieve a daily study time, you know, stuff like that. Move things around, be flexible. Another reason why people fail is that they are not flexible with their schedules or with their plans. Okay, scheduling is a type of planning, end of story. You know, it's just that scheduling is a repetitive plan. You know, like when you schedule something a day, okay, at this time of day I'm gonna take a break, or at this time of day I have this, that. You know, scheduling is pretty much a plan on a calendar. And I, as a person who has spent so many years trying to be able to learn how to plan, I have understood scheduling so much that I realized that the old me who thought that my disability to actually schedule things properly means that I don't really have a knack for it is a total idiot. So I'm at this phase of my life that I don't even know how to live without my calendar, because without my calendar I don't remember anything. And maybe I'm going to be talking about this later on, but right now I'm just going to sit here and have a one-to-one simply about planning. So be flexible. When you are at least flexible with your time, you can actually move things around. And maybe that particular day you're very packed, take that day as, okay, you know what, I'm too busy today and I know I'm going to be so tired, so I'm not going to study 2 hours a day. Take that, for example. Or maybe you start thinking, okay, I cannot really kind of like skip today because maybe I skipped yesterday. What can I do today to kind of like clear up my schedule, to have time for myself to study? What do I have to sacrifice? Maybe you have to sacrifice that kind of like lunch meeting with your friends, or you have to kind of like, maybe you have to do groceries today, so okay, you know what, I'm going to do groceries tomorrow and give myself time to stay at home and study, something like that. Be flexible. And in the topic of being flexible is to just accept that some days are just not your day, and don't make that a point to be, okay, you know what, these days suck, so I'm just gonna stop this whole plan and not do it anyway. Get back up again. One of the first point I mentioned was be flexible. The next point is, if you fail at some point, get back up again. Proceed, continue. Failing happens all the time. You fail something, something messes up, but what makes you be able to push forward is to just get back up again, get back into plan, or maybe change the plan, deviate it. Okay, you know what, this plan doesn't really work right now, let's change it for this week, or let's change it for the next few days or this month, or change it forever, because maybe at this part of my life that this old thing that I planned and worked before is not working anymore. Change it. You don't have to be so rigid about it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it that I kind of really want to talk about planning that I've learned for the past few years that is pretty major for something to just simply just to even talk about planning. Because planning, like anything, is a very big topic to even talk about, but this is kind of like a little take of the major things I find an issue in myself before this, when I thought I suck at planning, is these main few things, which is to not kind of plan properly and include any other kind of possibilities that this is going to fail, like maybe, maybe this day is busy or something like that, I didn't really take that into account. Or I'm not flexible, that, oh man, I need this time to be the time that I'm studying, or I cannot really push things around. Not being flexible is an issue. And also not getting back up, which is the final most important point, because as I said, planning is the first step of being productive. Plan is just so simple. You just sit down and be so motivated or inspired for no absolute reason. You're just so energetic. You want to start a new life, and then the next thing you know, when you fail, you just stop. And maybe a few weeks later, a few months later, then you're like, oh my god, my life can't keep being this way, and you start again and you fail. And you thought that you don't really have a knack for being productive, but in reality, you just have to just get back up directly. You will fail. Things are just gonna suck, which is why I'm making these videos as garbage as possible, because I just have to do it. I just simply want to do it. I know I'm gonna fail. I know I'm gonna suck, but I'm just gonna keep doing it. So yes, don't take your failed plan as something that is like, okay, I'm failing in life. No, just keep going. Okay, so I think this is all for this video. I'm assuming this video is going to be pretty long. I'm actually in the process of editing the first part a little bit. I'm just kind of looking through this footage over here. But so far, I'm happy with the product for today, because I cleaned up my audio quite well. Maybe, I'm not gonna be talking much about that, but thank you guys so much for watching, if you watched all the way, or maybe you just watched certain parts of this kind of like little vlog. Okay, I'm changing, I'm shifting, I'm improving. Okay, and hope you guys enjoy it, and see you guys next week for the next video, or maybe some articles in between. If you're reading my articles, maybe I'm gonna put links down in the description below later on, trying to kind of build my kind of like structure for my description. And also, we'll see if I'm gonna do a podcast today or tomorrow, just as an intro. And so bye bye for now.